wrestling fans, welcome to One Wing Wrestling, where we help you navigate the complex world of pro wrestling, bringing you the best matches, world-class wrestlers, and news you can count on. At One Wing Wrestling, we bring the elite to you. I'm your host, Krishna and and joining me as always is Mr. Bill Cupbush. Bill, how's it going?
It's going. It's another, like, what's with the rain, dude? Seriously.
Well,
can we stop?
First of all, not only the rain. What's with this changing of seasons that I'm not agreeing with here, okay? Why is it that I wake up, it's dark. I finish work, it's dark. I was like, wait a minute, was there sunlight today? I'm so confused right now.
I know. And here's the thing. I hear so many people, fall is so wonderful. What a great season. It's just the best. Fall sucks, people. Let's just admit for a second that although the temperature is occasionally nice, hoodie walking weather, okay, other than that, fall has no redeeming values whatsoever. It's like a long march into nightfall with Christmas at the end of it.
Well, you know what? I mean, like long march into nightfall. But it's weird because, like, you know, we assume like spring, you know, you get like I guess March, it's cold and a bit rainy sometimes. I guess there's snow in Canada. But like, what's with all the rain recently? Come on.
I know. It's just omnipresent every day. It's like I want to go out for my walk and I'm fighting the rain and I'm carrying an umbrella. And you know what it makes me grateful for, though? The days when there's sun. And it's like, nice sun. That would be great. I would like some sun.
Oh, God, I know. It's like I was walking yesterday and I'm like, why is it 2 degrees outside and rain's flying in my face? Dude, what the hell is this?
I wore a winter coat on my walk yesterday and it was necessary.
Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it was crazy. But you know what can bring sunshine into our lives even in these darkening days?
I know what can bring sunshine into our life.
Okay. I'm going to tell you then. Are you ready? This is going to be a big shock. AEW Dynamite.
Woohoo! You know, I Dynamite is one of those things, and this is me right here talking straight up. But Dynamite's one of those things I look forward to every week. You know, there's a lot of things you don't really look forward to. Like, you know, sometimes you're like, oh, there's a movie coming out, or there's something I'm watching, or there's something I'm doing that you're really excited about. And those things happen, you know, maybe not consistently, but Dynamite's the one consistent thing that I look forward to during the week.
Yep, exactly. See, and for me, it's Dynamite and wrestling in general, because, you know, with the state of the MCU, with the state of Disney, with the state of Amazon shows, with the state of like all other forms of entertainment right now, do you know what the one consistent thing is? I keep finding those elite, amazing matches on Dynamite, on the rest of it in New Japan, on my excursion over there, you know, like Stardom, TJPW, DDT. It's all such good stuff. There's so much of it and it's so entertaining. And it's like, a little refuge away from all of the other crap. Because if one promotion books badly, there's another one. It's not like the MCU where if they book badly, you can turn to what? DC.
Yeah,
like that's like WWE in, like, you know, mid 2016's TNA or something. It's like, seriously.
Yeah, Bill's talking directly to you, Black Adam, Mr. Average movie that's come out.
See, and remember on our other our now hiatus podcast, I said that was going to be like perhaps the dark horse movie of the fall. God. Apparently I'm wrong.
Oh man,
but that's okay.
Good thing we don't have to talk about that. There we go.
Do you know what I'm never wrong about? Wrestling.
Oh, here, never wrong. All right, okay.
It's my fantasy world. Leave me alone. Right. Yeah.
He's got to live up to that elitist moniker.
Exactly. I'm always right about wrestling. I am right about one thing. Dynamite is coming to us tonight from the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, Ohio.
All right.
Yep. So do we want to have a look at some of these matches before we watch the show?
Let's do it.
So if you guys don't know by now, what we do here on One Winged Wrestling is on Dynamite nights, we take a look at the card for Dynamite. We give our thoughts, opinions, predict it, try to figure out what our match of the night might be, that kind of stuff. And then we're going to go watch the show, see what happened. Look at the matches. What do we like? What do we didn't? How close were our predictions? And most importantly, does anything on this show live up to that all-important gold standard, the Omega level. And usually Krishna would say at this point, hey,
I normally say, can any show without Kenny Omega reach the Omega level status, right? And we have actually had some shows.
Yeah, we definitely have. Last week's was not one of them, but we've had some shows for sure.
Last week was like previous Dynamite without Kenny Omega, but
yes, exactly. A couple good matches and a lot of stuff where we went, oh, that happened. Cool. Yes. But anyway, tonight we've got a couple of promo segments. To start us off, we have MJF going live. Apparently not in a pre-tape segment. It said MJF live.
It's odd they had to put that down as MJF live. Like, do we like even so? I never, even though there are pre-tape segments, I never consider them, oh, this was not happening now. I always like this is happening. It's just in the back room, right? So it's funny that that's put down live. Maybe that means that he's coming out like from behind the apron. Yeah. I don't know. AEW always confusing me with things like this. I'm interested because again, after the past couple of weeks, MJF has been seeming like a good guy. Like he's been getting some good guy-ish promos. So yeah, I'm very I'm very interested to see where this is going. So yeah, I'm very interested to hear from MJF.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know exactly what he's going to say. I'm sure it'll do some more hyping of their match for Full Gear, which is now just, a few weeks away. So,
But what match are you talking about?
I suspect he's gonna have a match at Full Gear.
That's what you're assuming. Okay, got it.
So hey, maybe he throws the chip in and just says, whoever wins the title match, I'm taking them on immediately right after.
That was gonna be my assumption, but hey, who knows, right? It makes more sense for a pay-per-view because he's more of a pay-per-view kind of guy, MJF. Like, and I think if he was to win, you want that win on a pay-per-view. I kind of feel like you want that one in that pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think so.
Right.
And I think if they really want his redemption arc to do well, they want to make sure he still does some very bad things between now and then. Agreed. I think the redemption needs to be done very slowly and very carefully, but not too long so as to lose fan interest.
Yep.
Agreed. But I think that this guy's going to be able to maintain fan interest with his promos regardless because he's that good on the mic.
Yep.
He is, after all, a generational talent.
He is. If we could see him wrestle more, maybe. But yeah,
that would be great. That would be great. In our other interview segment this week, we have Renee Paquette sitting down with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta.
I don't know what to think about this one. I was like, okay, Renee's interviewing them. Why? I'm because last week we saw them help out. What's his face? Was it last week that they came down to the ring when Jericho won, or is it the week before? I don't know. One of the weeks they came down, but I don't know. Interesting. I'm very interested to find out what this is about because again, I hope it pushes forward a storyline. It's one of these things where I'm like, what are they coming out for? We know why MJF is coming out, but Yuta and Danielson coming out?
Well, you remember a few weeks back when Danielson was all like, oh yeah, Garcia, and he went out, put the title around his waist and stuff when he beat Wheeler Yuta, and you saw Yuta in the corner kind of looking at him like, really? Right. And then all of this has now happened with Garcia, and Garcia ends up betraying Danielson anyway. So I suspect this interview may have something to do with the story between Wheeler Yuta and Bryan Danielson stemming from the whole Daniel Garcia thing. So I think that's where this is going. Plus, I mean, Renee Paquette has had a very interesting segment with one Bryan Danielson in the past on a little show called Talking Smack when The Miz interrupted.
Called him out. Yeah, you're right. Okay.
And that was a pretty heated segment. So, she's good at running these things. So this could be very interesting. I think that this is going to be Wheeler Yuta getting extremely angry. So
I didn't even think about that, but you're probably right.
We'll see what happens. Now we have 4 title matches to talk about on this show. 4. Like the number of horsemen. 4. Ooh. That had absolutely nothing to do with anything on tonight, but Anyway, first up, we have the AEW Interim Women's World Title Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida.
This is going to be, I think this is going to be a good match. I think, as you said, Toni Storm has been getting better, or I shouldn't say getting better. She's been performing better in the ring recently. And Hikaru Shida is one of the top female wrestlers that AEW has, right?
In the world.
There we go. In the world. So yeah, if you're gonna put on a good match, like hopefully, like we get what we've been getting from Storm recently. Shida is just always good. So yeah, I'm assuming this one's going to be a very good match.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. I mean, Hikaru Shida is just so good. I watched her match where she won the title in Wave, the belt she's got, and for some pro wrestling Wave. Yeah, that's what it's called. I couldn't, such a simple name, and I totally blanked. But yeah, I watched the YouTube highlights of that match last week, and yeah, what a match. I mean, she's just so good in the ring. Her opponent was so good. So is this match going to be as good as that one? I'm going to say probably not.
Nope.
But I really am hoping what I want to see in this match is not necessarily match of the night, but what I want to see is Toni Storm continuing to be better. I want to see, I'm really hopeful that what we've seen is her trying to shake rust off, the rust of just a few miserable years in a company that didn't appreciate her. Let's see what happens, right? Yeah. Maybe there's a reason for all this hype around her. I mean, seriously, sometime I'm going to go back and check out one or two of those matches that she had in Stardom too, and I'll let you know how they went.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
But yeah, I'm hopeful this match at least allows us to see the new Toni Storm and not the one from a few weeks back.
Agreed.
So let's see what happens. The second title match of the night is a trios title match where we have Death Triangle versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends.
Okay, so first off, this match is gonna be amazing. I don't know. I'm just gonna leave it like that. This match is gonna be amazing. It's like Death Triangle versus Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends. Yeah, why not? I didn't even know this match was on the card. Like I was like, when I read that your text, I was like, why? I'm like, why are the trio, like why is Death Triangle defending against Orange Cassidy and Best Friends? Yeah. Like anyways, it doesn't matter. Like I'm just confused about that, but hey, why not? I'm like, you named Pac your wrestler of the week, right? Yeah, you did last week.
Yep.
So and he's amazing. Orange Cassidy amazing. Like Trent and even Chuck Taylor, like they're really good. Chuck Taylor doesn't get enough credit for what he does.
Yeah.
He's really good. And listen, do I really need to talk about the Lucha Brothers? No, exactly. I do not. Okay. So this match is just gonna be explosive from what I can tell. And that's why I'm going to choose it as my match for the night. Even though I was like hesitating. I'm like, should I choose? Should I not? Should I choose? And it's really hard because there is a match on here that I did say last week was going to be the match of the night. We said, both of us said there was one match this week is going to be that match of the night. And I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that I'm wrong about my choice tonight.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, it's this again, you named it. 6 competitors, all of them phenomenal, all of them the kind of guys we'd like to watch in the ring. All of them just, there's going to be some comedy, there's going to be some amazing wrestling, there's going to be high flying, there's going to be good ground action. I mean, this match has everything.
Yep.
This is the kind of match that we dream about watching in professional wrestling.
Exactly.
And we get to watch it tonight. So I don't really care why this match is happening. They're putting it on my TV screen. I don't need a lot of story. I'm getting 6 of the best wrestlers in the world taking each other on in an AEW ring. And if the storytelling in the match, I think that we both named, isn't quite where it needs to be, this match stands a chance for me to be a sleeper match of the night, but I'm not going to go with it.
Okay.
So that brings us to the ROH World Title match. Chris Jericho taking on Dalton Castle.
Yeah, I've liked what I've seen from Castle recently. I don't, my problem is that I don't know which Chris Jericho we're getting, right? And that's kind of like where I've kind of been back and forth with. I think Castle's going to do a good job. I think Jericho's going to do a good job, but I just don't know where this match is going to lie. Again, this match is going to be really good, right? But we get really good a lot in AEW, so you really got to stand out, right? And when last weekend when I had said, hey, go watch Castle and the boys versus those other guys, like the boys, they were really like, as I said, Castle was good, but the boys were more of like the high flying kind of like acrobatic kind of guys, right?
Yeah.
And they're not in this match. They
Right.
are obviously it's Castle versus Jericho. So I'm very curious what type of match we're getting here. I know you're really big on Castle, who I want to keep calling Frank Castle for some reason. But but
Jericho's just
yeah.
left in a pool of blood in the ring.
But yeah, no, I think this match is gonna be good.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be good too. I have a feeling though that it's very predictable because Jericho's
Mhm.
on this take on all the old ROH champions and beat them kick.
Yeah.
And so he's going to beat them and he's going to cheat to win. And it's going to be the same thing we've seen a million weeks before with this. That kind of bothers me about this. So it's going to be a good match. How good it is, like you said, is going to depend on which Jericho we get too, right? Dalton Castle's quite good. So I know he can put on a good match. Do I think this is going to be spectacular or anything? Probably not. I think out of the matches we've named so far, this one, I don't know. Am I going to like the women's match? Because Hikaru Shida, I think, is
Ooh,
better than both of them in
agreed.
terms of just pure wrestling ability. But character-wise, obviously, they're both amazing. Storytelling, amazing. But
Yeah.
oh, this is going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one. So, and because it's predictable to me, right? Then
Mhm.
again, Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm's predictable as well, right? I mean, it's not
Yeah.
like Storm's losing her title. So,
Yeah.
you
Exactly.
know, I mean, yeah, there's almost, it's almost like they've set it up just like I don't think Death Triangle's losing. I think Death Triangle's winning that match as well, right? They're not
Yeah.
losing their belts either because Orange
Because
Cassidy, this is like
just
them getting
one.
their
Yeah.
win back against
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy. So there's a lot of predictability on the show this week, you know? And I think that leads us to our one potentially unpredictable match on this card,
Mm-hmm.
which is the AEW Championship, Jon Moxley versus Hangman Adam Page.
And this is like the weird one because either of these guys can win this belt.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Oh, look at that. Do you like my take on that? Either of these guys can win this belt that they're both fighting for. But
Congratulations.
but yeah, I don't know, because remember the winner faces off against MJF eventually, or who knows,
Yep.
maybe tonight. I don't know. But the promos that these guys have been cutting on each other, like if Hangman won, I would share that as well. Like Hangman deserves it. Moxley deserves it, right? Either one of these guys would be great against MJF, right?
Yep.
I kind of, to be honest, I love Jon Moxley, but I wouldn't mind seeing Hangman versus MJF. I don't think I've ever seen Hangman versus MJF, to be honest with you, right?
Yeah.
And Hangman's such a big baby face, but like what they're doing with MJF, like I don't even, like, again, so many factors, right? But this is why I was like, I chose Death Triangle, but I'm like, this was the match that I'm like, Hangman Page is so awesome. I absolutely love Hangman Page, right? I mean, I question his outfits he wears to the ring sometimes, but hey, you do you, Hangman, you do you. But like, he's awesome. He's so good. He can do that high flying stuff. He can do the brawler stuff, and I love it. I absolutely love it. Just like Mox. Mox can't quite do the high flyer stuff like Hangman can,
Right.
but he can brawl, and that's certain.
Yeah.
So I expect a fantastic match out of these two. But yeah, the ending, I don't know. I don't know. This is gonna be like my 1B to my 1A earlier tonight or earlier today. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, no, and this, I think what's going to carry this match for me to match of the night is going to be the storytelling. We have an amazing story coming in here, right?
Yeah.
Mox, he's got the title, he's the heart and soul of AEW, and he's called out Hangman on not having enough heart and soul, but being a kid and not being able to carry it when it matters the most, right? And Hangman responding and just like that Ric Flair style that he did last week, right? Hitting himself in the head and stuff, right?
Promo.
Like just, so you got two guys at the top of their game going at it in the ring. Both of them, like you said, they can both do high flying stuff. Hangman's better in that sense. Moxley's the better brawler. And they can both mat wrestle. Neither one of them is going to win an award for it, but they can both mat wrestle. So, I mean, they're both good, well-rounded wrestlers, each with their own kind of, they're both hard hitters. I think that's probably both of their strengths. So this is just going to be phenomenal, phenomenal. So I can't see this not being my match of the night unless for some reason the storytelling falls flat or we get some kind of weird shenanigans or something stupid happens or something like that. But if we get a straight up fight between these two guys, I can't see it not being my match of the night. So, and who's going to win? Okay, let's see. I am going to say Mox is going to retain, but it's going to be a hell of a fight. And there's going to be a lot of moments and good near falls and stuff. But Mox is going to retain because I think the Moxley MJF feud, because I think they're going to leave MJF as a bad guy for quite a while. And I think Mox will retain because putting the belt on Hangman just to be a transitional champion to MJF, bad idea.
Yeah, agreed.
So I think Mox is retaining for those reasons.
Yeah, no, I agree. That makes sense.
So you're down to Mox is retaining?
Yeah, nothing. But when you put it that way, in terms of like it doesn't make sense to use Hangman as a transitional champion, right? Because that doesn't really help him in any way.
Right.
Whereas Mox has now held the belt 3 times.
Yep.
So you're like, yeah, Mox can lose the belt to MJF.
Yeah, he could.
Right.
Precisely. Yeah, and it's not going to hurt as much. Of course, if they really want to push the MJF heel side, taking the belt from a triumphant Hangman would be the perfect way to do it. Right.
Agreed.
So there is the opposite side too. But as I said at the beginning of the show, I'm never wrong about wrestling. So tonight I've given you the spoilers for tonight's card.
I'm gonna go there and everything Bill said is gonna be correct. I'm like, wow, why do I even watch this if Bill knows everything about wrestling?
Yeah, it's all going to be wrong. You know that. I mean, all you guys have to do is go back and look at my predictions for the pay-per-view cards, and you'll know how wrong I can be. So anyway, well, we have a show to watch.
Let's go watch it.
Let's go watch it. We will be back. And that was Dynamite.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, we have a lot to talk about on this episode, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we get right into some of the action?
Let's do it.
It came to us tonight from the Heritage Bank Center in Cincinnati, Ohio, and they're calling it Title Tuesday because there will be, as we discussed in the pre-show, 4 title matches. We have Excalibur, Taz, and Toni on commentary to start it off, and they get right into the title matches. Orange Cassidy's music hits, and out come Orange Cassidy and the Best Friends for their match against Death Triangle. So both of them come out. I am happy to notice that this week, Rey Fenix was on cue for his entrance and was not standing outside the spotlight for him. Good job. I don't know if that was his fault or the spotlight guy's fault last time, but that was pretty hilarious. Anyway, Pac went right after Orange Cassidy the second the bell went, and Orange Cassidy was not the legal man. He was just on the apron. Pac totally ignores Trent and goes straight at Orange Cassidy, taking him down. The Lucha Brothers get early on a series of double team moves, ending in a near fall to Chuck. The Best Friends then tried to set up for a double team triangle ladder splash thing with Orange Cassidy, but they were interrupted, leading to triple tope suicidas by the Death Triangle. All 3 kick a seated Orange Cassidy in the ring, and then triple drop kicks to him as well. Pac is reversed into a stun dog millionaire, which leads to a series of moves from all 6 guys, ending with Trent sending Pac to the outside. The Lucha Brothers do a cazador into a lung blower, which is basically a reverse backstabber to Orange Cassidy, followed by a Pac deadlift bridging German, but the pin gets interrupted by the Best Friends. Chuck and Trent then, they give Penta, Chuck gives him a stuffed pile driver, Trent a stalling pile driver, then they're off the shoulders triangle splash they tried to set up earlier. Cassidy lands it, but the pin is broken up by Pac. Pac gets the hammer at ringside, the ring bell, but this time Rey Fenix stops him, takes the hammer away, and tells him, yeah, we can win this clean. Orange Cassidy rolls the distracted Pac up for 2, but Pac gets out. German suplex, Orange Cassidy with the orange punch, and both are lying out. Then Trent, soon after, blocks a destroyer, gets Penta up into the strong 0 for 2. But kick out, of course. And then just after, we get Rey ending it with a Phoenix driver to Trent for the 3 count. And they do indeed win clean over the Best Friends. What did you think of our opener, Krishna?
I said this was gonna be my match of the night. And yeah, I mean, this match was fantastic. Again, you put these 6 guys in the ring together, and it's chaotic. Like Pac and like Rey Fenix, first off. This guy has to be the best high flyer we have today. Like him and Dante Martin, my goodness, like these guys can just fly. And there's this one sequence where Penta was about to get pinned, and they had a 2. And then Ray just came out of nowhere. Like literally, he just flew into the ring. So yeah, this match was great. Like I love the little interplay between Pac and Ray, where he kind of grabs the hammer away from him and says, "No, you're better than this." And even after the match, they still were at each other's throats. But you know, they like, you know, lighter heads prevailed, and Pac actually it's weird seeing Pac kind of like apologize almost to Ray. That was kind of odd, but you know what? It was such a good match, such a really good match. And I think this is where Shivani mentioned the Bucks in this match. I think there was reference to the Elites in this match.
Oh, I didn't even hear
catch it. So I thought I heard something, and then I'm like, wait, no, no one's allowed to talk about the Elite. So I quickly checked the Twitterverse, and it was confirmed. Tony Schiavone mentioned that the Elite were the first winners of the Trios Championship, and I was like, the Elites, those, you can't say those kind of things. So that kind of put a smile on my face.
I like how we think it's just been completely and utterly forbidden to the point where it's like, no one can say it. How about they just let it cool for a few weeks to keep people from constantly making that the story? And now when it makes sense in storyline, it's not like they're not part of the company.
It's true. They aren't. But even when Tony Khan mentioned it, he just said the belts have been stripped, right? So I think it's good thing.
This again, though, I mean, we're almost getting into another episode of Denai's dirt sheets. Yep. I don't know, man. It just seems insignificant to me next to this is people who just they want to grab onto something so much, any tiny sign like Quicksilver in WandaVision. Mutants are coming. Mutants are coming.
I don't know. I think you're wrong on this one. Actually, I actually think this.
So when are we getting the Elite there? Prognosticator.
I never said that we're getting the Elite back soon. I'm saying that, you know, with the Ace Steel firing, and then suddenly I think the investigation is going to be coming to an end very shortly.
That's a distinct possibility. Right? Now, if it does, then I'll be willing to say, yes, now these things are significant. But until such news has been provided, these are just mentions.
Speculations.
It's speculation. It is. Agreed. It's interesting speculation, but speculation.
True.
So this was your match of the night?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like this match was by all means, like, I mean, it was fast paced, hard hitting. Like Pac is amazing. Again, Trent and Chuck Taylor. They're like I was listening to commentary that Trent and Chuck Taylor, they're like the best tag team with their moves. I'm like, have you seen what Pac and the Triangle have been doing so far? Come on, and you're saying Trent and Chuck are have the best tag moves? No, they definitely do not. They have good ones, but they don't have any ones compared to, like, come on. Let's be real here. Anyways, this match was by all means fantastic, and it was my match of the night.
It is also my match of the night, which we'll get to why later, but this is my match of the night. Shout out to Orange Cassidy for bringing the belt to the ring in a backpack.
In his backpack.
That was the best. I have very little to add to what you said to it. It was an excellent match. It was, the story was cool with Pac and the hammer, and like maybe a little crack in the death triangle because of Pac's actions. We'll see what happens. Trent eats the pin, protecting Orange Cassidy. Yeah. So Ray Fenix looking like his spectacular Ray Fenix self as always. Not much more to say. Great match. My match of the night. So I guess, guys, it's all downhill from here. Or is it? So we get a Mox and Hangman video in Cincinnati. Mox is it's being billed as like the big champion in this video, and Hangman notes that Mox broke first in the casino ladder match when they were fighting. So we then get backstage, and we've got Britt, Jamie, and Rebel being interviewed, and Renee comments, so you guys are interested in the upcoming match between Toni Storm and Hikaru Shida. And Britt says, Interested mildly, but extremely disgusted we aren't the interim AEW world champion. And Jamie says, one of us will be the interim world champion by the end of this year. Britt says, no, one of us will be the AEW world champion by the end of this year. But that's another story. Shida later, Dr. Britt Baker, DMD.
Yeah, no, these guys they're funny. But I do see that. I do see that one of them will be the AEW Women's Champion by the end of the year. Because I think Thunder Rosa probably is going to be coming back, shortly, hopefully, so that they can clear up this interim garbage that they have going on right now.
Right.
So like hopefully that happens so they can get rid of that interim stuff. But yeah, I do want to see Hayter or Baker be the champion for the beginning of the year. So yeah, I think they're right. I think that they're calling it, and they're just adding to they're putting some like eyes on the women's championship now, because you're curious to see like when's it gonna happen, who's gonna be fighting next, because we have a match tonight, obviously. So this promo was funny. Britt's always funny, and I love when she's just a DMD and she goes to Tony, did you do it? And he's like, yeah, I did do it.
Who never does it? Jamie Hayter.
Jamie never does it. Yeah, exactly. She never does it.
No. So that leads us into Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida for the interim AEW Women's World Championship. And this match is apparently 10 years in the making.
Yep.
Do you know what they never told us? The story about how this match is 10 years in the making. For the love of God, if you're going to tell me that this has been going on for 10 years, these two... Give me a video package, anything. Hello, tell the story. 10 years in the making. Oh, that's it. You should just know the whole story out like the back of your hand, right, guys? Right? Y'all know their story in Japan, right? Everyone, right? Crickets. I would just like to point out that Hikaru Shida is 52-9 in AEW.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. Toni Storm 15-2. Just saying. Anyway, they shake to start the match. There are dueling chants to start it off. I would say slightly louder for Toni, but there were quite a few Hikaru Shida fans in the audience. Storm starts with a hip attack, sending Shida to the outside for the commercial. Shida then with a jumping knee, her 10 punches on the turnbuckle and a missile drop kick for 2. They exchange elbow strikes. Shida gets an enziguri and both are down. But then Shida does this beautiful meteora off the top rope and a gut wrench suplex for a 2 count. But Toni Storm comes back with her infamous hip attack. Tornado DDT gets blocked. Shida slams her down for a 2 count. The katana gets blocked. A roll-up gets reversed by Storm, but Shida reverses it again for 2. Storm with a bridging German for 2, and then Storm catches Shida at the ropes into a tornado DDT, into the weakest pile driver in the known universe, and it's over.
Yeah. This match was good. Toni Storm cannot do German suplexes for the life of her. Like every time she does, she looks like she's throwing like the person over her like left shoulder, and I'm like, it looks terrible. It's as good as her Storm Zero. Let's just say that.
Yeah.
But no, not a bad match. I mean, and I think that would be based on her chemistry with Shida. They did well. Like, I mean, they went for the hard hitting moves. Like they weren't slow. I didn't see any like botches, I should say. Like everything looked like it was well choreographed. It's just, I'm watching this and I'm watching her move, and I'm just like, oh, man, if you're just a little bit cleaner, this would be so much better. And yeah, that's just it. I mean, I thought it was a good match. But as I said, whenever you put her one-on-one, you do start to see a bit of the cracks here and there, right? And again, better than what I've seen before, right? So still getting better, but still just needs some more time.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was clear Hikaru Shida was the better wrestler in the ring by a long shot. That German suplex looked terrible. I love how the announcers, they're like, well, you see how she rotated there and to do this. And they really tried so hard to cover up that miss on the suplex. And and she really needs a new finishing move. That pile driver looks terrible. Like we see so many pile drivers during the night. And they all look vicious. We'll get to some of those later. I mean, those two that were done to Penta.
Penta, yeah.
Yeah, they both looked way more deadly than this pile driver that was done to Hikaru Shida. But somehow this knocks Hikaru Shida out and she gets pinned, right? Like they're protecting a finishing move that looks like garbage, and I hate it when that happens.
Yep.
But overall, the match wasn't bad.
Yeah.
You know, I'm given my excursion to Japan, you know, I'm getting very partial to people like Hikaru Shida. So yeah, she's an amazing wrestler, and I'd like to see her do more than just lose to Toni Storm, getting the weakest pile driver known to humankind. But you know, I keep pointing that out. But in all honesty, Toni Storm did pretty well tonight. It wasn't.
She did better. Yeah.
She's better than she was in that match she had against Britt anyway. Wow.
Yeah. Agreed. I wish everyone blamed Britt for that one, anyways.
Yeah, I have no idea why. Anyway, after the match, we see Jamie Hayter and Rebel come out and they attack Toni Storm. I don't know what happens to Hikaru Shida here. She now just vanishes in a puff of smoke. Britt Baker comes out as well. She comes out, though, with her music at the entrance ramp. But then we see Saraya come charging down and takes Britt out. And then they battle off into the corner. And then when you have Hayter and Rebel still beating down on Storm, we get music hitting. Rio comes out and she does take a brief moment at the top of the ramp to stop and smile and wave a bit to the crowd. And then she runs down to the ring to help out Toni Storm. But she takes down Rebel and does a huge cross body off the top row. Just looked gorgeous to outside to Hayter. The crowd is chanting for her at this point. So anyway, Rio helps Storm up and they leave together. I don't know where Saraya went. I mean, you just see Storm and Riho leaving. So, I mean, I think there's some black hole in the corner by the ring, and it like got Hikaru Shida, and then it got Saraya as well.
They what happened was when she threw Britt into the stands, the audience, she then went into the audience.
Oh, so they got lost.
They got lost.
Oh,
They probably
okay.
took Jon Moxley's directions.
Yeah. I understand completely. So it wasn't the black hole; it was getting lost in the crowd. Okay, I understand completely now. But anyway, what'd you think?
Well, Saraya, more interaction than I had said earlier. I'm like, oh well, they're still protecting her. Well, no, a little bit. No, like she raced down there and she kind of like really attacked. What's the name? Britt now. So it kind of seems like she's possibly beginning to get ready to go. Maybe it's going to be her versus Britt in a match.
She's 100% cleared to wrestle. There's no doubt in my mind after saying
it's just the way that she attacked her. So I'm like, okay, well, I was kind of like, okay, this clarifies things now. Then happy to see Riho back. I mean, it kind of sucks because she was here 2019, she's our champion, and then the pandemic hit and she got stuck in Japan and couldn't really come back at all. So glad to see her back. You know, I kind of feel like someone like her should be carrying the belt, but hopefully there's not feeding these poor girls to Toni Storm. But I kind of feel like that's probably the way it's going to be, or maybe there's going to be a tag team, or I don't know. But yeah, just happy to see her back. So yeah, I'm curious to see where they go with this now.
All right. Well, she's facing Jamie Hayter on Dynamite next week. So that's going to be a hell of a match. So I'm looking forward to that. Yeah, I'm glad to see her back too, because she can go.
Yeah.
And definitely better than some of the other women they have in this division. It's good to see her back. I hope she's around for a while.
Same.
I hope this isn't temporary. So yeah, I mean now they're letting people in and out of Japan again. So that's good news. Foreign fans are allowed back. Cheering is starting to pick up again in the arenas. So Willow Nightingale's going over there to wrestle in some Tokyo Joshi Pro matches later this month. So that should be pretty good. She's been advertised for 2 shows in Japan. So that's pretty cool. We'll be checking those out. Anyway, yeah, it's good to see her back. It's not good to see these two back. We get a brief mention of the Kingdom, and then we go to a Wardlow promo. Wardlow has 0 tolerance for disrespect, which means I should be hiding in my basement every night because apparently I've been disrespecting him. Wardlow has 0 tolerance for that. I don't know. But then Joe says, he wants them to pick a championship. You give 2 men 6 million ways to die, and you still choose the wrong ones. Now, he sounded really mean when he said that. I have no idea what that line meant. You
I
are
know.
you are two men. You're given 6 million ways to die, and you still choose the wrong ones. Like, what? I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like they're hyping the match. I don't know. I'm just I don't know why Warjo is a thing. I don't know if the fans asked for this or what happened, but I didn't ask for this. But hey, so be it. I mean, I don't. It's not for me, but maybe it's for somebody else. So yeah, I don't know where they're going with this. I really don't.
Listen, I didn't ask for daddy ass and scissoring, but I got it
But
anyway.
you got it anyways,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah. So I didn't ask for this either. I didn't ask for Warjo. And look, I like Samoa Joe. I like his promos. He can cut some vicious promos. I think somewhere the words just got messed up in his head tonight when he cut this promo, because that made no sense to me at all. I'm like, what? 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 I have no idea what you're talking about. Anyway, we go backstage and we have Renee now with FTR. And Renee says to them, you guys have had an insane 2022, and now you're number one contenders for the AEW tag titles. Well, they have been for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Dax says, well, we go way back. All we want to do is be the greatest tag team of all time. 2022 is a good start, but there's a target on our backs, big target. But, target or not, we want that 4th belt. And he goes through some of the opponents they've had to face recently, too. Cash says, well, it's the best year of our career, but we need those AEW tag team championships. Without them, I can't live with myself. Now, that's a tall order. So anyway, Swerve and Keith Lee at this point interrupt, and Swerve notes that Dax has some nice fingernails. Not sure why, but he does.
And he noticed that they're painted black. That's why.
Oh, they were? I didn't even notice. I'm like, why is he commenting on his fingernails? Anyway, so 6 to 7 months, he notes that you've been the number one contenders, but we deserve the number one contendership, not you. And Keith just tells Swerve to stop it. He goes, look, they're number one. But the fact is, we do deserve a shot at the AEW championships. Dax says, well, next week, let's do it for the number one contendership. Keith's like, okay, we'll do it. And he leaves. And Swerve goes, what? And he runs off after Keith leaves.
Yeah, I hope they don't break up Swerve and Keith, man. I think they're so fun together. One guy's the good guy, one's the bad guy. Swerve, I love Swerve just being that like sleazy heel. And yeah, no, I'm like FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. That's gonna be a fantastic match. So yeah, I'm happy for that match. So yeah,
I'm 100% down for this. I also think it's funny now when he goes, whose house? And there's like crickets.
Yep.
And he goes, Swerve's house.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to the match. FTR versus Swerve in Our Glory. I mean, just take my money now. Thanks. Speaking of take my money now, we get Jay Lethal and Sanjay Dutt backstage with Darby Allin. Now they're out like in the parking garage part of the arena, where they've apparently demanded time in the parking garage near the I don't know, the Zamboni entrance or something. I have no idea where they were, but it was all concrete. Jay asked for the time to get a rematch with Darby, and Darby says, look, I'll beat you again, and then I'll beat you again, and I'll beat you again. But Sanjay Dutt says, we know your weakness because a close personal friend told us. This makes Darby angry. He shoves Jay, and this leads to the two of both Sanjay and Jay getting the better of him. They beat Darby down. They ram his head into a garage door. Then they lower the giant garage door onto his ribs. And then Jay puts a figure 4 leg lock on him on the concrete with the door down on him until security finally intervenes and breaks them up.
Yeah, I mean, the first match is really good. I want to see what's gonna happen in the second match. Kind of feel like there's gonna be interference in this one, because Jay Lethal, I guess, has gone bad again. So yeah, sure. The first match was great. A mad Darby Allin, like, I mean, this guy's nuts anyways, so like I like to see what he does. So yeah, no, I'm good for a second round this.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see these guys again, just as long as we don't get like, a best out of 8 series from them or something like that. But exactly. Yeah, because Darby's like, I'll beat you again, then I'll beat you again, then I'll beat you again. I'm like, Darby, I don't want to see 4 back-to-back matches betwin you and Jay Lethal, as good as you guys are. So yeah, I'm down for a rematch. Rematch could be fun. They had a really good one last time. Okay. We now go to Tony Schiavone with William Regal in the ring. But before Regal can speak, MJF's music hits. You guys ready? Okay, here we go. MJF says, I'm not here to fight, Will. I'm here to talk. Now here's what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you a story and you're going to listen. You owe me that. When I was 19, training in the business in the Creative Pro Wrestling Academy, my trainers pulled me aside and they said, "Kid, congrats. We got you WWE extra work." Now, to me at that time, it was the only show in town and an opportunity. I packed my best gear, my best suit, and I drove to the Barclays Arena. The extras, including me, were greeted and spoken to by Sir William Regal. We were going to have a tryout matches. You had us up against a random opponent. My match was second. The first match, Arn Anderson, Dean Malenko, Adam Pearce, and William Regal watching. The two locked up, and Dean Malenko rang the bell and said, "Get out." Then it was my turn. I was shaking like a leaf. I wasn't fighting for a contract. I was fighting for my life, because make no mistake about it, Will, pro wrestling is my life. And when the match was over and I was soaking wet, every single one of you looked at me like I had 8 heads. And then you pulled me away from the group and said, "Follow me." You took me to a separate room and said, "Kid, you got 3 minutes to sell yourself. Go." And boy, did I. And by the time I was done, your jaw was on the floor. And then you picked it up, and I'll never forget what you said to me. You said, "Kid, I'm going to get you a job here today." And then what happened? Huh? And then I realized in that moment, I did it. I was no longer going to be looked at by the naysayers as a 5'0" ADD riddled Jew boy. No, I was going to be a superstar. I had done it. My dream was about to be accomplished. And then with a crooked grin, you said, "How old are you, kid?" And I said, 19 years old, sir. And you looked at me and said, "Kid, I'm sorry, but you're much too young." My heart stopped. My dreams evaporated. But you resuscitated me and said, "Kid, when I put my name on people, I give people jobs here. The list is small, but the list is Claudio Castagnoli, Bryan Danielson, and Jon Moxley. When you come of age, I will personally put my name on you. So what I want you to do is go home, work hard, and every single month send me a match and a promo." So I went home and I busted my ass. Month 1, "Maxwell, thank you. I look forward to reviewing your progress." Month 2, same thing. Month 3, you send me an email I saved on my phone until this day. "Smirk all you want, you son of a bitch. Let me read it to you. Max, I'm a very, very busy man. I've got talent from all over the world to watch, and I just had to sit through 3 minutes as you, quote, show me your acting skills. Do not reply to this. But how would this make me say, oh, let's hire Max? Make a name for yourself in the wrestling world, and that means being a high-level performer. And when you do that, trust me, I'll know. But unfortunately, the game has changed. The WWE exclusively hires the best talent in the world. When you're one of them, maybe send me your stuff. Yours sincerely, William Regal." That's the email you sent to a 19-year-old kid, a child with a dream, and you squandered it. Look at me. This is real life, goddammit. When I read that email, I wanted to quit professional wrestling. I wanted to quit my life. Look at me in the eyes when I say this. That email made me want to kill myself. And then I realized that if I did, then you and all the naysayers would win. And I can't have that. No. And now here we are. And my, how the tables have turned. The year is 2022, and you are nothing more than a sad, withered old man who got fired. And now you've snuck into my company like a flea-ridden rat by sticking to talents far better than you ever were, like a succubus. And you know who I am? I'm MJF. I'm the 26-year-old kid who's on top of the business. I'm a generational talent. And I'm the man who your former employers now would be willing to take several human lives simply to get me to put pen to paper in the bidding war of 2024. I want you to look at me. I read that email every single day, not to put a chip on my shoulder, but whenever I need a good hearty laugh, because that's what you've become to me, Will. Nothing more than a joke. And you know who I'm about to become? The AEW champion of the world, because my name is Maxwell Jacob Friedman, and I'm better than you, and you know it. Mic drop, and the crowd goes apeshit. I'm going to pause there and get your reaction for his promo.
So the promo was excellent. I thought, again, this is, I kind of said this at the beginning of the show, you know, this is Maxwell turning face. Like, this is him becoming the next big baby face of the company. Now, the reason I said is that his promo was excellent and I'm not gushing so much about it is because what Regal responded with, right? I think as good as Maxwell's promo is, I think Regal just absolutely crushed it. Like I personally, I've never been the biggest William Regal fan. After the promo he cut on MJF, holy shit! That's all I got to say. You haven't even said it yet.
I haven't even got there yet. No,
and I'm gonna give you time to like get to that. But yeah, I thought Max's promo is great. Again, full baby face he's going here, man. Like,
yeah. To me, this was part 2 of the promo he cut with Punk. Remember the one where he was going on?
Yeah.
This was part 2.
Yeah.
This, to me, I am going to say this was great. This was an Omega level promo, right? Because you have to take it as bookmark to bookmark later.
Yep.
Okay. This was all one story. This was act 1 of the story. And when he finished that promo, I'm like, how the hell is Regal supposed to respond to that? Right. Because this was real. These emails are real. This was real life. That's insane. Like his promo to me, I was just sitting there going, like, it just blew my mind. I was like, this is one of the best wrestling promos I've heard all year, period. Like it got me. It really got me. So, but then William Regal takes the mic. Are you ready for part 2 of this?
Yeah.
Okay. Regal says, job done. You mentioned being 19 and being a child. Well, at 16, I left home and went to work on a carnival and having to fight grown men getting into this industry. I wasn't trying to cast you aside, Max. I was seeing in you exactly what I see now, and it's making me happy. I saw somebody who was going to be a big, big star. I wanted to light a fire under your backside. Why? Because we live in a day and age where you can't have grown men smashing your face in when you're 16 and when you're 17, when you're crying every single night. There's blood running out of every hole in your body and you want to quit, but you won't let yourself because at 17, I said, no, I will not quit. I'll keep going because I am going to be a professional wrestler. And if a bloody email was what it took to get you to this place and you've held on to that for 7 years, then you've had it easy, sunshine. And that's exactly what you've had. You've had it easy because you've mastered something that you seem to forget. We spent several times together where I said, this is what you need to get good at, sunshine. You need practice. Every time you brush your teeth, you need to stand and talk and practice and get so people take notice of you when you pick up a microphone. I could see how incredibly talented you were then. I watched you against Young Wheeler the other week. I can see what an incredible talent you are. Before you were born, I was insulting Mr. Shivani, but I would never lay a hand on him. I'm what they call an ODV. That's an ordinary decent villain. Anyone that steps between these ropes, that's fair game. But you never put your hand on someone like Mr. Shivani. I wanted you to be where you are. I knew you had it in you. The only problem is you let me down because you took shortcuts. You haven't proven anything to me yet. Just because you're making lots of money doesn't prove anything to me. You hire people to do your bag work for you. You wear a ring to knock people out. When I use these, and he refers to his brass knuckles, it was because I just like hitting people with them. Max, don't take any shortcuts. You want to be a real bad guy? You want to be the devil? Then make a name for yourself by doing it right. Beat everybody that stands in front of you. And I don't care what liberties you take with the competitors, just get to that place. But if you want to be the devil. Show the world right now. Or are you going to take another shortcut and act like the victim and whine and cry? He turns his back. MJF puts on the ring, but does nothing. So he turns back around and he says, you still have a lot to prove. He drops the mic and leaves MJF in the ring.
Yeah, I love the audience. They're just shocked. They're absolutely like, you just hear the faint clapping of people finally just clapping for William Regal. And because they couldn't believe it. Because again, how would you ever follow up MJF's promo he just landed, right? Will you do it the way William Regal just did it?
100%.
Like you want a response to MJF? Like Wheeler Yuta, like Jungle Boy, all you guys in the back. If you guys think MJF is the best in the mic and no one could beat him, look what William Regal just did. Right? I sat there and I'm like, what the hell just happened? So I was like, I've been here cheering for MJF, MJF. I'm like about to boo William Regal. And then I felt I just got slapped in the face by William Regal. And I was like, I deserve that, Mr. Regal. I really did. Right?
Please, sir, may I have some more?
Yeah, may I have some more? And I would like, again, as I said earlier, I've never been the biggest William Regal fan. Never. But wow, like just wow. I could not believe, like MJF talked about this. And the fact he turned to him and said, if an email did that to you, then you had it easy. I was like, holy crap. Like that, like, oh my goodness. And then he tells his story and everything. I was like, you know, like it's always like, you think you've had it hard. Look at these guys. And he made his point. Like, you can't do this these days. You can't do that. But that's what he had to go through. So, you know what? prove yourself. And this is storytelling perfectly. Like, this is AEW creating the biggest baby face they've ever had, right? And I'm like, bravo Tony Khan, bravo MJF, and bravo William Regal. You guys stole the show. Like seriously, I was speechless after this promo.
Yeah, 100%. It was because I was like, okay, MJF just like knocked it out of the park, right? And then William Regal follows it up with a grand slam.
Yep.
And remember when Regal showed up? And I'm like, he was the perfect guy to put the Blackpool Combat Club because he can talk. But he hadn't really proven that yet, because I've heard the guy cut promos before. All right. He's good on the mic. But tonight, he basically stood toe to toe with one of the best guys on the mic in the industry and beat him.
Yep.
That was the crazy part. He beats him. And I was just like, this was the promo segment of the year for me.
Yeah.
This back and forth, because they both told their sides so well. You have a real epic story here now, right? Because, you know, years ago, William Regal lights a fire under MJF, right? And MJF's been carrying this with him the whole time. Right. And then he's like, well, you've really had it easy. So why don't you prove to me? Like, it's like, in all honesty, William Regal guiding this dude's career. Right. It's like, it was just so awesome. So epic. I was blown away by these. Like Kush came downstairs. My wife came downstairs while I was watching this. And I just took the earpiece out of my ear for a second and said, you have no idea what an awesome promo segment I just watched. And she went, I'm busy cleaning. And I'm like, okay. So anyway, yeah, it was something else. I couldn't believe it. I was just, this is why I watch pro wrestling right there. This is why I watch pro wrestling. And you know what? Both guys, you know what the core of their promo was? How much they love wrestling, being pro wrestlers.
That's really
that was it's simple, right? It's nothing else. It's not a bunch of bullshit. It's not a bunch of gimmicks. It's two guys talking about all I've ever wanted was to be in that ring. If William Regal had to lie at the age of 17 with blood pouring out of every orifice at night, crying himself to sleep, he was going to be a pro wrestler, right? If MJF's going to commit suicide over an email, he decided not to because he was going to be a pro wrestler. And you can see now why William Regal said you had it easy.
Yep.
So, well, follow that up, everybody on the roster. So we have a video promo for the ROH match, which is a good thing that they threw to that. But what I noticed was interesting was they went through all the different ROH champions. And what I love about AEW is they acknowledge wrestling everywhere. It doesn't matter. You know, like MJF just got through talking about WWE tryouts, right? Now we have a video promo and we see Tyler Black, we see Kevin Steen, we see Bryan Danielson, we see Christopher Daniels, we see CM Punk, right? And a bunch of the other champions too. And so they just point out that Jericho's been desecrating this lineage. So we now go in the back, and Renee Paquette, who is the busiest woman on this show tonight, is in the back with the Acclaimed. And she says, everyone wants a piece of you, especially Mark Sterling. Billy Gunn says, welcome to AEW, Renee. Someone is trying to take away scissoring. Anthony says, titles versus trademarks, so we can get back to scissoring. Max says, we're going to stomp you. So the match is set for Rampage. Did I get that promo almost exactly right?
Basically.
Yeah. I did that one as well as I did the MJF Regal ones, right?
Yeah. It again, I don't know. This is the word part is it's a gimmick match. Like, who cares about, like, I guess, you know, the tag match will be fine, I guess, whatever, right? But I just don't care about this. I really just don't. I want to see FTR and Swerve and Swerve in our glory. I don't care for this match.
Yeah. I mean, comedy matches can have their place, right? I don't mind a bit of comedy match if it's going to be an obvious comedy match, but this is comedy involving your world tag team champions, you know? Like I was watching the Joshi Pro, the Tokyo Joshi Pro card yesterday, and I was watching a comedy match between, like, they have this, I can't remember her name now, but she's this giant woman who's dressed like a cave woman, and she's out there with her partner, and they're taking on these other two, like, small Japanese girls, and the match was just like it was funny and it was meant to be funny, right? Because
Yeah.
the cave one was kind of out of control and like constantly like beating on her partner too, and it was just, but it was still a really well wrestled match, but there were a lot of really funny moments in it too, and it was clear that that's what this match was supposed to be. Mid-card match, comedy, just something different for the crowd. These are great things to put between a couple of really serious matches to, change up the crowd's moods, right? I don't mind comedy. I mind it when it's the tag team champions. I also mind it when it's like a direct ripoff of DX. So, it's like DX with old John Cena. It's just sorry guys, I'm never gonna be into scissoring. I'm just not. Krishna loves the Acclaimed.
I do. Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
No, not everybody. So Renee is now with Bryan Danielson and Wheeler Yuta in a previously recorded interview. So she didn't actually have to run quickly to an interview studio and set up for this one. So she just says, Bryan, your reaction to losing last week to Chris Jericho? And he says, well, it's never fun to lose a match to Chris for the ROH championship. It wasn't the ideal outcome. And Renee says, so how was what happened with Daniel Garcia sitting with you? And Danielson says, had a lot of high hopes for Daniel Garcia. I look at him and I see him as someone who could surpass a lot of things I've done as a technical wrestler. With the right guidance, he could be the best wrestler we've ever seen. And Renee says, Wheeler, I can't help but notice your reaction to Bryan talking about Daniel Garcia as she gets out the spoon, finds the pot, starts to stir it. Wheeler Yuta says, the best wrestler you've ever seen. How are you surprised at how that happened last week? Because me and Claudia, we could have seen it a mile away. Bryan, he was clearly using you. He has Dragon Slayer in his entrance video. He's using you to get what he and Jericho want. I thought that when I bled for this, and he points to the Blackpool Combat Club logo on his sweater, I thought that meant something. It means something to our world champion. It means something to Mox. It means something to Claudio because he gets it. But I guess I shouldn't have met my hero because it doesn't mean anything to you, clearly. He gets up and leaves, and that's the end of the segment.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, like, you called it, saying that, this is going to be backlash from the whole Bryan Danielson not seeing straight when it comes to Daniel Garcia, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I do like the fact at the end he's like, you should never meet your heroes, right? I was like, yeah, because he forgets that Wheeler Yuta has gone through the same thing, right? He's been doing his fighting his way up as well. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be very interesting. I kind of see going down, like, I see a Jericho and Garcia versus Danielson and Yuta match coming up. I almost even see those two winning the belts eventually. Like, I see Danielson beating Jericho for that ROH belt, and I also do see Yuta pinning Garcia again to get that belt back, the other one, the pure champion. So yeah, I like this is good. This was good. I love how these vets are working with these young kids. It's so awesome. Right. So and the thing is that Bryan Danielson can talk, but he's very stoic, right? And in these little promos he's doing, because he's letting the kids talk. And I like this. I really like this. I really like the direction AEW is going right now with using their talent. Like, every vet has like a talent attached to them almost. And it's this is all beneficial.
It's huge. So it's absolutely huge, because this is not the kind of promotion where the vets are just putting themselves over on the younger guys all the time or that kind of stuff. It's like you get to know these younger guys through their interactions with the people we already know. So people who don't necessarily know the product very well will tune in to watch a Danielson or a Jericho, and then they see these other guys with them. Smart. And they see these other guys doing well, excelling, winning matches, that kind of stuff. And you're like, damn, these guys are good. So yeah, it's a very interesting way of handling it. So yeah, I agree with you completely. This was a good segment. I don't blame Wheeler Yuta at all. No. I might feel the same way in his position. So I thought it very interesting. He's like, Danielson, have you not been listening to everyone in the Blackpool Combat Club? Like, the fact that he's saying Claudio and I get it. Right. Like, I just found that very interesting, right? Because it's kind of like, dude, you don't get it. Mox gets it. Claudio gets it. I get it. What the hell's wrong with you? Right? So very interesting. So we now get the ROH World Championship match. We get Dalton Castle taking on Chris Jericho. Ian Riccaboni joins the commentary. Ian Riccaboni, voice of New Japan Strong. Oh, and apparently Ring of Honor. Anyway, so the code of honor that Jericho attempts in the ring ends with Castle giving him the finger instead of actually going for the code of honor. Dalton starts it off with 3 slams and these multiple gut wrenches, which were followed by a gut wrench suplex. Taz tries to explain how the gut wrenches work, but it just looked like Dalton was having trouble getting the gut wrench suplex on Jericho. Anyway, Castle then did his spot where he throws the boys outside the ring and he threw them all into Hagar, who was ringside. There was a chop exchange in the corner, leading to Castle missing a big knee and going right over the turnbuckle onto the floor. He does catch Jericho on the apron, though, a knee lift to the outside, followed by a tope suicida and a hurricane rana onto the floor. That looked pretty cool. The boys were all attacking Hagar at one point. And they were going after his hat. They got his hat. One of them puts it on, and Hagar just like he hulks up. He's like, "Don't touch my hat!" And he just destroys the boys and gets his hat back. It was amazing.
And he yells in the camera, "I like this hat."
Yeah. Was so good. Oh, anyway, Castle gets a rear choke on Jericho, but Jericho escapes. He gets the walls locked on until Castle reaches the ropes. Castle catches Jericho in a lion salt into a German suplex for 2. There was a "This is awesome" chant at this point. Castle catches a codebreaker attempt into the bangerang, which is a spinning double leg facebuster. That's his finishing move for a near fall. The announcers point out almost no one ever kicks out of that move, and he's won the championship with it before. So Castle gets up and hits him with some elbow strikes. Jericho dodges some of them, and Judas effect, and that's the 3. It's over.
Yeah, this entire match is like it was non-stop, like just Jericho getting beaten down. Then he kind of hits the Judas effect, and he wins. Yeah, this match was good. I mean, there was nothing terrible about this match. It had that little really good comedy spot, but like it was just, I guess, showcasing Castle, because Jericho was just taking a beat down. It was slower. It wasn't really fast paced or anything like that. But it wasn't bad. Like, I mean, I wouldn't consider this a bad match. I've seen better matches tonight, especially.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, this match was okay. I mean, I guess it's just Jericho going through every champion. I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was very I've seen Dalton Castle have better matches. This was very sports entertainment-y, which, I mean, we do have the JAS out there. Yeah. But the whole match felt very sports entertainment-y to me, which okay. Sure. There was a lot of suplexes. That was fine. There was some good moves, but nothing I went, wow. I mean, the most memorable spot from the whole match will be Jake Hager getting his hat back.
Agreed.
Yeah, most memorable spot in the whole match. So if you wanted good sports entertainment, this was your match, because man, that was funny as hell. Anyway, the whole JAS comes out, and Jericho gets the mic and he says, "All honor to the Ocho. I was going to desecrate. I said I was going to desecrate the Ring of Honor Championship. I'm doing it. Ring of Honor champions out. Ring of Honor ring announcers done. Even the Ring of Honor commentators." And he turns to Ian Riccaboni and they attack him. But then Jerry Lynn, former ROH champion, comes out and stops him from hitting Riccaboni with the belt. So Jericho tombstones Lynn on the belt on the stage.
Yeah.
And that was the end of that.
That was it, I guess. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, and the funny thing is, you see the backstage I guess assistants, they run out with the neck brace and they put it around his Jerry Lynn's neck, and I'm like, oh cool, so he's hurt. And then we're gonna see what happens later on the show. But yeah, I'm like, okay, sure, I guess this is sure. Right? Just sure.
Then we get a look back on Christian and Luchasaurus. And Christian says, "There's been a misconception I brainwashed Luchasaurus, but it's obvious that as far as intelligence go, Luchasaurus was the brains of the team. We are on to bigger and better things. So if you're a champion in AEW, reality is going to give you a bitch slap with my right hand of destruction, Luchasaurus."
Yeah, this is just, I mean, hey, I was like, where's Jungle Boy? What's happening right now? But I'm glad that they have this little segment so they remind you that Luchasaurus is still with Christian Cage, and he's gonna be running, I guess, through everyone. He kind of said he's gonna be going after the belts. So all the champions, it better be. I'm like, okay, he's not gonna win anything, but sure.
Isn't he?
Oh, or is he? You're right. Yeah, I mean, this is a good reminder of storylines. So yeah, I was okay with this.
He'd be pretty great with the TNT title, wouldn't he?
Well, Wardlow's not doing anything with it, so you may as well
That's my
take
point.
it.
Give it to him, and then Jungle Boy can go after that belt, right?
Yes, I like that.
Yeah.
I
See,
like
there
that.
you go.
Okay.
We got a belt pursuit added to it as well. We just need Luchasaurus to take out Wardlow.
Yeah.
I'll be cheering for Luchasaurus in that match. What I really want to hear are the Christian promos on Wardlow.
That's true.
Those will be great because you know what I really miss? Weekly Christian Cage promos.
Yeah.
Those were the
Very
best.
True.
I miss
Very
them.
True.
Well, speaking of things I don't miss, we have the baddies in the back, and they are hunting through the building, apparently looking for Nyla Rose, and Renee's there with them, and they say, "We have no time for you. We have business." But Jade shows up and she wants her belt, but Nyla isn't there. But Kira found out Nyla will be in Jacksonville for Rampage. How convenient. So Jade is going to demand her belt, and she tells Tony Khan, "I'm going to hijack the show if I don't get my belt back."
I don't know. They're giving them something to do, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of funny that Nyla Rose, again, she stole the belt.
Mm-hmm.
She's defending it. Tony, what the heck? I don't. I'm so confused right now. How's this even signed?
Yeah.
Like this is sports entertainment booking again, right?
Yeah,
so
100%.
I mean, I'm not saying it. I'm hating it. I'm just kind of like it doesn't make any sense.
Oh, no. I'm hating it. It's just dumb.
Makes no sense. Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense. So it's like, okay, if you want Nyla Rose to have the belt, just have her beat Jade Cargill. Yeah. What's so big about? Are you trying to delay it till the pay-per-view?
Yes.
Okay, then have a build up. Then don't do this. Just don't do this.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Anyway. Yeah, it is what it is. I don't even know what to say about this at this point. I'm like, she's going to hijack Rampage? You mean, so is that when, Warjo comes out and just carries her out of the ring? Like, anyway, it's not like it's going to be a Bryan Danielson moment where he hijacked Raw, right? Where all the fans were on his side and stuff like that. Now they'll just be like, Cargill, get the hell out of the ring so we can watch some matches. We have Rio versus Jamie Hayter coming up. Anyway, so we go on to the main event of the evening. Hangman Adam Page taking on Jon Moxley for the AEW World Championship. So Hangman comes out first. He gets a few boos. I note that he has tights that look like chaps now. Has he been wearing those before?
Yes. Yeah, he has. Yeah.
Why haven't I noticed them? Because I was like, it looks like he has chaps on again. And I'm like, no, that's his tights.
That's his tights, yeah.
Anyway, okay, he needs new tights. Anyway, Mox starts way in the back this time. Okay, like he is in the back, probably near that garage door that was put down on Darby Allin. Anyway, so he just picks a random door. He's coming out to the ring, probably going to get lost, but Hangman's like, I need him in the ring. And he goes to find Mox, and he does. And he gets him, and it's on. So Hangman suplexes Mox on the concrete, like the concrete. Mm-hmm. There's no mats. There's no nothing. He suplexes him on the concrete. Then he goes up the stairs and moonsaults onto him from the top of the corridor on the concrete.
Yep.
Mox is cut open. By the time the commercial's over, they're back in the ring. The match starts. Hangman dominates early, and given the damage that Mox took before the match, Hangman keeps pounding on the wound, and any comeback by Mox is getting ended very quickly by Hangman at this point. So the story right now, Mox is he's bleeding, he's hurt, and Hangman's beating on him. But then Hangman spends a little bit too much time bragging, and Mox hits him with a cutter, gives him a lariat in the corner, bunch of punches, bites his head, and the greatest move in wrestling, the vicious back rake.
Great,
and then
yep,
that was great. I love that back rake. And then the superplex for 2. You know who else does the back rake? El Phantasmo. Mox then goes for the Juji Gatami, the cross arm breaker, but Hangman reaches the ropes. There's a pile driver attempt on the apron by Mox, but it gets reversed by Hangman into a dead eye onto the apron into the last commercial break. Hangman with an avalanche fall-away slam for 2. Mox goes for a German, but Page lands on his feet. He does a lariat. Mox comes back then with a King Kong lariat, taking them both down. At this point, I'm going, man, this is a great match. Mm-hmm. I literally, honestly thought that right at that point. And then the doc goes over and checks Hangman. This seemed very real. Mox actually backs off into his corner and is just watching, and it goes on for a little while, and then the bell rings.
Yeah.
So Mox gets the win because Hangman can no longer continue, and it was real. Hangman has a serious concussion.
Yeah.
He was taken out on a stretcher. You could tell this was real because the entire, like the promotion, like the commentary team was trying desperately to fill some time at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Regal comes down to the ring to congratulate Mox. You know, Page is Hangman's being helped onto the stretcher, and at this point, the commentary team just goes over the Rampage matches, next week's Dynamite. Taz is clearly rattled. He just keeps going, like referring back to the ring. Like things are really messy at this point. They think they're throwing to Mox. It doesn't happen. He doesn't have a mic yet. Finally, they get Mox a mic, and he says, "Ladies and gentlemen, I hope and pray that Cowboy Hangman Page recovers 100%, can walk again, talk again, play with his little baby, perform for all you fans again. But this is a dangerous game that we play, and you got to have guts to play it. You got to risk it all to play it. You got to put every single thing on the line every time you step in the ring if you want to be successful in professional wrestling." I'm going to stop there and get your reaction on the match and everything that happened with Hangman.
Yeah, you know, like I'm just again, you know, thoughts go out to Hangman. I saw him post. I quickly checked Twitter after this happened. And yeah, it was confirmed. Obviously, he had a concussion.
Yep.
He sent out a tweet today, kind of thanking everybody, like just being Hangman himself, just kind of joking about it, but saying he's okay and thanking everyone for the wishes he's gotten. And he kind of put at the ending, please insert kind of like I'll be back, follow up kind of quote here.
Mm-hmm.
He actually put insert that, and then he wrote, "Hey, you didn't insert a quote here." So he's just again still joking around. But yeah, it's a dangerous sport, and when he got hit, like again, I thought, yeah, I've seen Hangman do this millions of times. Like what? Like he just didn't move. And when you look at the ref and he signals in the doctor, even at that point I was kind of like, okay, is this part of the
Right.
show? And when I heard the bell ring, I was like, what the hell just happened?
Yeah, exactly.
Because Mox is just pacing back and forth. He's like what, right? And you could tell like Mox when he first saw Hangman go down, like he was like over there and he's like checking on him as well, right? And even like when Regal's walking down to the ring, he's like looking at Hangman, like you can see it. And of course, Taz could not control what he took his glasses off. He's like, you know, he's like, yeah, this like Hangman's hurt there. He's literally describing what's happening. He's like, you know, they have a stretcher out there. They're gonna take him out, and then you see the ring ropes. They had loosened it. I'm like, holy crap, this is, and yeah, I didn't know what was gonna happen. The match itself, yeah, hard hitting. It was a good match up until that point.
Oh yeah,
and then what an ending. Oh my goodness, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, AEW they have the worst luck when it comes to like injuries and their wrestlers. So like think about it. Adam Cole has been out since the pay-per-view. What was it called? Forbidden Door. He's been out since June.
Yep.
Right? So we're approaching like 6 month, half a year territory that Adam Cole has been out from a concussion. I'm hoping and I'm praying that Hangman is okay. He has a speedy recovery, but man, this is a big blow to AEW right now. Yeah,
and like Krishna said, you know, like my thoughts, hopes, everything goes out to Hangman because you know these are serious things. Again, it's one of those things where watching professional wrestling and you know they put on a show and they give you everything. Like Mox, that's why I like Mox's promo here. He noted, you know, they give everything, they give 100%. You know, it's why the worst thing you can say to a real professional wrestling fan is, isn't it fake? Like, screw off. Watch that match, that suplex. And I got to wonder too, though, how much did the beginning of that match affect Hangman's susceptibility to a concussion later on?
He did that moonsault off the top of the friggin'
onto
entrance.
Concrete. And don't forget, he suplexed Mox onto concrete, right? Your head can hit the concrete, right? So you got to wonder, was that opening on the concrete? I get what they were going through, and Mox is just insane, but Mox can take just about anything. You know, the man is a punishment machine.
Yeah.
Is Hangman? Not sure.
I don't know.
Right. But anyway, I mean, there is no blame on anyone for this. It's just sometimes I think wrestlers want to give so much that sometimes it can end up backfiring on them. I think this is one of those unfortunate scenarios where it ended up backfiring on them a bit tonight. And it's sad because they were having an epic match. But I really hope Hangman's okay. He's such a phenomenal talent. He's such an integral part of AEW, and Mox cut pretty much the exact right promo at the end to highlight that. So, because, you know, this stuff isn't fake. These people get hurt. These people take hits. I mean, you see that clothesline connect with them. And I watched it a couple times because I wanted to figure out, like, how did that happen?
Yeah.
And I think it was just, I don't know if it was just the way his head came down afterwards
when I saw it again and I rewound it and then looked at it again, and they even showed the replays. You see, it's because it's Hangman. You gotta remember, like Mox is hitting him, but Hangman is the one doing the flip, right? Because it's a flip. He's taking the hit. I thought it was fine because it looks like he lands on his shoulder, but it's his shoulder and his head. So I thought, did he dislocate his shoulder? Is that what happened?
Yeah.
Right. But when he wasn't really moving, I was like, did he knock himself out? Like I didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
Right. So I don't know.
It must have just been one of those fluke hits. Remember when Bryan Danielson got that stinger in the match back in WWE and like they stopped the match and he was livid?
Yeah.
Right. But I mean, his arm was essentially paralyzed.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, he got the stinger in the match, but I mean, sometimes you just get a fluke hit. Right?
Exactly.
Like the head gets hit one way, something like that. So it may have just been that. It may have just been an absolute fluke. He just happened to hit the mat in just the right way at that exact moment to do that. But, you know, kudos to the announcers. Kudos to AEW. They handled it well. You know, they eventually got a mic to Mox. They didn't shy away from what was going on. You know, Taz was good at explaining what was happening in the ring. You could hear the fans chant once Hangman was put on the stretcher, and you could hear them, you know, chanting cowboy shit and stuff. So, so that was fine. But they continued with the show after that. And, you know, Mox continued with his promo. Yeah, he said, I saw a guy earlier who was talking a lot of shit. So MJF, if you want to prove just who you say you are, get your ass into my ring in Cincinnati right now. And of course, MJF's music hits. He's got the chip with him. He's got a ref. And the crowd at this point, they're back on their feet. They're like, okay, we're getting another match here. MJF's going for it with the chip. In, you know, this moment of a cash in, right? So they get ready. He gets his shirt off. He's all ready to go. The ref's in there. He's handed the chip and he bails out of the ring. He takes the chip and he hands it to Regal and grabs the mic. And he says, because Regal was jawing at him the whole time. And he says, you want to talk about me cutting corners? Nah. You want to talk about me being a man? These people know I'm a man. Here's what's going to go down. I'm going to cash that chip in. But when I do, I don't want you at 50%. I don't want you right after a match. I want you at 110%. I don't want any excuses. I want to make sure that when I beat you clean, smack dab in the middle of the ring, there's not a goddamn question that I'm better than you and you know it. I'm cashing my chip in full gear because for the first time, look at me when I say this, Regal, you piece of shit. For the first time in my miserable life, I'm gonna earn it.
Babyface, right?
Yep, because he said, I'm not taking the shot, but he thought about it. He brought the ref out. He brought the chip. He thought about it. And then when Regal was John at him, he changed his mind.
Yep. Yeah. We're watching the biggest babyface to come out of AEW. Homegrown, right?
Yeah, 100%.
He's going to win the belt. The crowd's going to go absolutely insane in November. Yeah, it's going to be a really good match. Mox is finally going to get his time off after that, I think. Yep. But yeah, we're going to have a brand new champion. And I thought this was really, really good. I think this was planned regardless. I think this entire thing was planned.
Yeah, 100%.
From the beginning. But they just had to pivot, right?
They had to fill time up to the point where this would be the off the air moment, right? Yeah, so they had to fill in the time at the end of that match still. Yeah. What I like too is Mox. Did you catch when he looked down at William Regal and just raised both his eyebrows and kind of like a check it out?
Yeah. Right? Yep.
So Mox gets the mic back and he says, I'm going to tell you exactly what you're going to earn. The heel of my boot in your mouth. You're going to earn your teeth going down your throat. You're going to earn my fist up your ass. You're going to earn your throat getting squeezed until your head turns purple and pops off like a Pez dispenser. You've earned a date with the AEW World Champion. I'm going to make you an example. I'm going to show the whole world getting in the ring with me is dangerous as all hell. And that's the end of the show.
Yeah. And Mox, again, just adding to it, building up this match. It's going to be quite the build up now. We know he's facing Mox now in November. There's a couple weeks till the actual pay-per-view. So I'm very interested on the promos and everything they're going to be cut going forward. And this is going to be quite the match.
Oh, this is going to be awesome, dude. This is going to be awesome. I cannot wait for this match now. They have built it up so well. They've made William Regal such an integral part of this match. You know, Moxley's the heart and soul of AEW, you know, just the penultimate professional wrestler, right? With the penultimate professional wrestler, you know, manager / coach or whatever you want to call William Regal. And then now being faced by a guy who would have, like, you know, killed himself over an email because he wanted to be in professional wrestling that badly. Right? What a wrestling story. I mean, like, guys, this is just a story about two guys who really, really want to be champions and professional wrestlers.
Yep.
You know, who are going to go out there and put on what is probably going to be one freaking hell of a professional wrestling match. And the fact that MJF has said, when I pin you clean, smack dab in the middle of the ring, right? I think we're going to see an epic wrestling match between these two. I cannot wait for the next month of promos.
Yep. Agreed.
Yep. It's going to be spectacular because it is almost exactly 1 month till full gear.
Yep.
So yeah, they got a month to build this bad boy up. And so there you go. I suspect that Mox was going to win the match tonight. I suspect that was going to be the outcome all along, given the way it ended tonight. So, you know, it's unfortunate. There was that one blemish in the show, but overall, what'd you think of tonight's show?
Pretty good show tonight. I think, you know, we had some really good matches. We had a really, really good match, and then some pretty okay matches. Unfortunately, the last one would have been a really good match had it not, you know, ended the way it ended. But I think the promos overall stole the show. They stole the entire show, right? So yeah, it's just made me hype for what's coming next, and I'm excited. I thought it was a really, really good show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely, it was a good show. Would I make it an Omega level show? You're right. The promos made the show. The first match was really good. I don't know if I would call the first match an Omega level match, though. It was just a good match.
Really, really good match, yeah.
And then we had, you know, some good matches. Nothing I'd write home about, nothing that's particularly memorable. And the last match that was building up to be really, really good, but like you said, unfortunate end. So the promos kind of stole it. So I don't think I would call those Omega level promos.
Yeah.
That we had in the middle.
Agreed.
100%. But I don't think we had any other Omega level moments. So I'm going to have to say not an Omega level Dynamite, but you need to check it out for the Omega level promos and the way that this Dynamite builds up MJF as like the penultimate challenger and yet keeps the other side looking strong as hell, right? This isn't MJF beating down the opposition with promos. This is like an equal match, right? So, yeah. Yep. So that brings us to the moment tonight with our one phrase to summarize the evening. What do you got for us, Krishna?
Well, I'm going to just quickly steal something, which I think was fantastic today, but steal something from Mr. or Sir William Regal and just say, you've had it easy, sunshine. That's it. You've had it easy.
Yes.
Right. And that sums up like, wow, just wow.
Yep. Absolutely. And I would say my phrase to summarize the evening will begin with get well soon, Hangman.
Yes.
But my main phrase, the one thing I think summarizes the evening absolutely perfectly is don't touch my hat.
I like this hat.
I like this hat. Yes. Yep. Jake Hagar, thank you for making me laugh my ass off tonight.
He's hilarious.
Yeah, it was great. Anyway, yeah, I mean, it doesn't really summarize the evening, but I just had to say that again. So anyway, and with that, we will be closing out this review of tonight's Dynamite from Cincinnati. And as the great one always says, goodbye, everybody, and good night. Bang.
Good night, everyone.